Now I'm going to jump right into this and I'm warning you now. Leave this post if you're fragile. I'm going to start this off real simple. Everyone knows I rock with Trump, right? That's not breaking news. But I'm also not a cheerleader, yelling yes king at every idea. And people have asked if I'd ever call him out. That time has come. I may lose followers for this, but I wouldn't be me if I cared what people think. Strap in. If something is stupid, I'm calling it stupid. And this 50-year mortgage idea might as well be a screen door on a submarine. So the pitch is basically, hey America, housing is unaffordable. So instead of fixing the actual problem, the cost of the damn house, here's a loan so long that your grandkids will make the final payment. While you're in a retirement home, arguing with the nurse about pudding cups. A 50-year mortgage is a family heirloom of debt. This is where I call it out. I rock with Trump, I always have. But this idea is financial crack. Feels good in the moment, destroys you in the long run. And by the time you realize the damage, the bank already owns your past, present, future, and your kids' future too.
It is a f***ing scam. There's been a lot of talk about 50-year mortgages. I can't understand why people think this is a good thing. It is a scam. People will forget what a car, at 144 months does. Paying is all interest. Now let's do a 50-year. You don't hit amortization until 2065. We can finally afford a home. And you will pay $1,700,000 for that home. If you keep it 50 years, you're not going to. You're going to die.
Your house, but as for me and mine, we would never, ever, ever sign a 50-year mortgage on 50 years. I'm not signing anything for 50 years. Anything. 50-year mortgage loan? Are we crazy? Is everybody okay? No, nobody is okay. What are we doing? 50 years is asinine. And if you sign up for it, you are a dummy. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You are dumb. All right.
Y'all hear they doing 50-year mortgages? That is f***ing ridiculous. The average human lifespan is 70. So bam, I'm 23. So by time, bro, I'm gonna be dust. I'm dust. I'm that. Instead of you weak ass lowering prices, y'all couldn't lower the prices. Y'all want to give like, I don't understand. The government shut down. Like, the food stamps is gone. $1 billion year car loans, 50-year house loans. I'm only 23. What the Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is literally ridiculous. There is no way in hell this is life. Like, for real. I just seen a lady in Africa make fun of the U.S. saying, yeah, eat up. People in America are starving. They are! And y'all love telling bitches to get their money up, but every time somebody get their money up, prices rise even higher. Ridiculous. Imagine having a 50-year bill. 50 years. What the
Stupid accent. I wasn't born in the United States, so I won't say anything about this topic.
A 50-year mortgage? That's a half a century. That's half of your life. Who would want that? It's the carrot on the stick. They're trying to lure buyers in with misleading benefits. Biggest selling point is telling a potential buyer that their monthly payments will be significantly reduced. The selling point is especially attractive to first-time home buyers because it makes a nice, big, expensive home seem affordable. Being on the hook for 50 years is crazy to me. Do you know how long it would take that home to build equity? Red flag for me is when you first get a mortgage, in the earlier years, everything goes to interest, not principal. So with a 50-year loan, you'd probably be paying interest for at least a decade. And then you must consider how much interest you would be paying over the life of the loan. The longer you take, the more you pay. And if you have an arm tied to a 50-year term, your minimum payment might be so low it doesn't even cover the interest. Where do you think that unpaid interest goes? It gets added to your loan balance. Now you're paying more than you originally borrowed. This is a catastrophe waiting to happen. Someone will probably still be paying on a home when they're well into their retirement. Don't forget the slow equity that I talked about in the beginning. What if you have to sell your house? Or what if the market dips? Then you'll be upside down or underwater. I hope you can swim. I see this as a big win for lenders because having somebody on the hook for 5 decades, that's a nice piece of change.
Your boy Donnie is out here trying to solve the housing crisis by thinking, and it's not going well. His solution to the housing crisis, in which can't nobody afford to buy a house because interest rates are too high, home prices are too high, and can't nobody afford that mortgage, is to introduce a 50-year mortgage term. Because in his words, 50-year mortgage term
would reduce your monthly payment and make it affordable. And if you don't do any kind of critical thinking, any kind of deep dive, any kind of research at all, he's not wrong. A 50-year term would, in fact, decrease your monthly mortgage payment and make any home you purchase with that 50-year term affordable on a month-to-month basis. But the moment you do any kind of critical thinking, the moment you do any kind of research at all, this whole thing falls apart. Yes, your monthly payment will be lower, but the interest you will pay over that 50-year term, oh my God, these banks gonna do your ass dirty. They're not gonna take you behind the woodshed. They're gonna take you to the Diddy party, baby oil and all, and have their way with you. They're gonna turn you every which way but loose when it comes to that interest. And you don't gotta believe me, I got the numbers to back it up. Hold on. Now, what I have behind me is known as an amortization calculator. It allows you to calculate the interest on a loan term, right? And we're going to use the house that we bought in 2021 as an example. So in 2021, we bought this house for $375,000. We obviously are not paying 5%, we're paying much lower than that, but I wanna use the average rate for houses today, right? And we obviously have a 30-year term. So if we look at the monthly payment, it's just a little bit above $2,000. I obviously pay more than that, mortgage insurance, homeowners insurance, etc. But that is about right? As far as the mortgage is concerned. Total interest, you pay $349,000, which is insane for a 30-year term at 5%. Total paid, as far as principal and interest, $724,000. Now let's look at the 50-year term, right? Same price, same rate, only difference is the duration. Yes, your mortgage payment goes down, you pay $1,700, right? But your total interest is double from the 30-year term. You're paying $646,000 in interest for a $375,000 house, which brings the total amount paid in principal and interest to $1 million over a 50-year term. That is ridiculous. You will never pay off that house. You will die before that house is paid off. The only person who wins in that scenario are the banks, are the mortgage lender, are the realtors. Everybody but you wins in that scenario. Listen, I get the housing crisis is bad, but a 50-year mortgage term is not the way. We need to bring down the cost of housing and interest rates need to come down. It's that simple. Because 30 years is already crazy when you really think about it. A 50-year mortgage term equates to rent for the rest of your fucking life. You will never pay off that house, ever.
So Trump floats a 50-year mortgage and every banker in a Patagonia vest is like, awesome, now they'll die before they finish paying us. Wait for it, because this next part is the scam hiding in plain sight. I'm gonna show you how this keeps you in debt, how it funds big banks, and what you can do about it. Here's where it gets good. Picture this, you buy a $500,000 house on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. On paper, you bought a $500,000 house, but in reality, with interest, you paid over $1 million. Which means, if you sell in those first 5 years, you're basically renting your house from the bank. Stretch that out over 50 years, and you might save a few $100s a month. You end up paying for that house 3 times over, while your grandkids inherit the mortgage and the trauma. Here's the part that nobody talks about. The longer the mortgage term, the longer your paycheck is quietly being funneled up to big banks, out of your pocket and out of your community. So sure, you can keep commuting to a job you hate, working for a CEO you'll never meet so he can afford a new helicopter, or you can opt out of that script completely.
Here's another fucking thing. I worked in mortgage for about 4 years, which isn't a super long time, but it's enough to know. If the economy was doing well, like Fat Cankle's bitch tits says it is, he wouldn't be introducing a 50-year mortgage or a 15-year car payment. If you live in America, you know that if you just take a drive around town, they're putting up all these residential neighborhoods, and it's all cookie cutter houses that look like they were made of paper mache. They all have like one fucking window, and they've got a yard that's like this big, and they've got an inch between each house, and it's $450 a pop for one of these houses, and they want you to pay a 50-year mortgage on that. You understand how much interest you are gonna pay. You're never gonna own the house. You are never gonna own the fucking house. These billionaires want you to be debt slaves, and they are fucking covering it up, making it seem like it's a golden fucking opportunity for you. And for what? For what? To own your house when you're maybe 80 years old? A house that is now worth nothing because it was built on thoughts and prayers? Find yourself 50 years down the road having paid triple, if not more, the amount for a house that is a piece of shit. But you own the house. That's what matters. You own the house. Congratulations. Healthcare is being taken away from millions of Americans. SNAP benefits are being fucked with. You can't go to the grocery store and get one bag of groceries under $50, and that's not even getting name brand. Brand new cars are $50,000 to $75,000, and they break almost immediately. People are about to get 50-year mortgages on houses that have less structural integrity than a fucking mud hut in the rainforest. You can't tell me that the economy is doing good. Crazy. If you blindly believe what the administration is telling you, you're dumb. You're fucking stupid. Get a grip. Blame the billionaires. Please.
Let's read some comments. Someone wrote, I love Trump, but a 50-year mortgage is a terrible idea. I am 100% a Trump supporter, but agree a 50-year mortgage is ridiculous. The cost of a house is crazy. 50-year mortgage is diabolical. People are gonna get 50-year loans knowing they are gonna leave their house to their kids and let them kids worry about it after they die. 50-year would help investors, would make it so you can buy a house and rent it and actually profit right away. We should be going the other direction. Mortgage terms past 15 years should be outlawed. A 50-year mortgage is literally evil. It equates to slavery and usury.
This is insane. The proposed solution to make housing more affordable is to offer you a 50-year mortgage, which will actually make the total cost of the home more expensive than the original home you buy itself. It will cost you more to get a 50-year mortgage than the price of the original home you purchased. Allow me to explain. Recognizing that most Americans are struggling for basic necessities and that many Americans have the dream of owning their own home, the administration has proposed a 50-year mortgage. Ostensibly, the idea behind this is to lower the monthly payment that it would take to purchase and own a home. Ignoring, of course, the fact that since 2020, life expectancy has clearly decreased in the United States, the idea of a 50-year mortgage is a farce. If you purchase a $400,000 house at a 6% interest rate over 30 years, your total cost, your estimated cost, is going to be $863,000. That's about $463,000 in interest. On a 50-year mortgage, that nearly doubles. Your total cost to own that home is $1.2 million. $1,263,372. And again, these are estimates. But the cost of that, the interest cost, is $863,372. More than twice the cost of the house. And the difference between the two, obviously, is more than the original cost of the $400,000 home. So the claim is to make housing more affordable, but it's actually increasing the cost of housing by the full cost of the house and more. And the crazy part about this, listen to me, the crazy part about this is this proposal, by my math, only decreases the monthly payment by $200 from $23.98 to $21.06. So you save $200 a month and you pay almost $500,000 more for your house. This is not a solution. This is propaganda. And it's dangerous. You can't solve the housing crisis by making people pay the equivalent cost of their home in interest over 50 years when life expectancy has been declining.
Donald Trump recently went on Fox News and said a 50-year mortgage is no big deal, but it is a big deal and it only benefits the banks. Let me show you how. I'm a former California realtor and a homeowner, and I need you to understand exactly what that looks like in your pocket. Let's say you finance a $400,000 home at today's average interest rate of 7.8%. On a 30-year loan, your monthly payment is around $2,879. After 10 years of making payments, you've paid $345,000 total. But only about $56,000 of that has actually gone towards paying off the house. That's what you own, and that's called equity. The rest, almost $290,000, went straight to the bank as interest. Now let's look at the 50-year mortgage that Trump is pushing. Your monthly payment drops a little to about $2,654, but only $47 of that touches the loan. After 10 years, you've still paid over $318,000, and only about $14,000 of that went towards owning the house. That means you handed the bank over $300,000 and you barely own anything. And if you keep that loan for the full 50 years, you'll pay over $1.7 million in interest on a $400,000 home. That's not affordable housing, that's a debt sentence. That doesn't help buyers, it helps banks collect interest for decades longer while you stay stuck paying for something that you barely own. And when Trump, a man who's filed for bankruptcy 6 times, tells you this isn't a big deal, you need to ask who he's really protecting, because it's not you and it's not your family. A 50-year mortgage doesn't bring you any closer to ownership. It keeps you close enough to believe you're getting somewhere while it quietly robs you. Don't fall for it.
Financial advice: if you can't afford a 30-year mortgage, you shouldn't be buying a house. If you can't afford a 48-month or a 60-month car loan, then you shouldn't be buying a car. Please do not get a 50-year mortgage. And also, please do not get a 15-year car loan. Your car ain't gonna last you 15 years. I thought it was astronomical when I heard the car loans were going up to like 60 months, 72 months. Like that's a stretch. If you need 72 months to pay for a car, you need to look at a lower level car. I'm sorry, not everybody needs to be buying a Benz, an Audi, a Range Rover, and some people just aren't meant to be homeowners. I'm really sorry. Okay, there's reasons that rentals exist. And do I wish, as somebody who's a renter, that I could afford a mortgage payment? Yes, but the solution to the housing issue, the housing crisis, is not longer term loans. It's lower APR. Same thing with car loans. Okay, if you need 12% interest or above to pay for a car loan, you just need to be going for the used cars. Okay, used cars. Like, you just need to get a hunker to be able to get you from point A to point B, so that way you can make enough money until you can afford an actual, smaller car. Just financially, it doesn't make sense. You're gonna be crushed with debt forever. It's the exact same thing that we saw with the student loans. Like, this isn't the solution, okay? And I love my Donnie J. I do, and I know that he's trying to be all-inclusive and be like, let's get more people in houses, let's get more people in cars, like, people need this stuff. I get it, but to you guys, I'm telling you, don't do it. Get a hunker-junker car, fucking make that shit work to get you from your house to your job and your job back home. Work on your credit card payments. Use your credit card as a debit card. Do not use a credit card as a credit card. Use your credit card as a debit card. Put shit on your credit card. Pay it off immediately. That way you can build up your credit, because you need credit to have good credit. But pay it off. Pay it off. Stop using a debit card. Debit cards are completely fucking useless. You don't get anything out of them. Plus, credit cards get you points, which you can use towards other things. And then maybe rent until you can afford a 30-year mortgage. But don't buy a 50. You might not be alive in 50 years. That's it. I'm blown away. Oh my God, financial illiteracy. Don't do that.
50-year mortgage? That's not financing. That is generational debt cosplay. So Trump is floating around this 50-year mortgage, right? And when I heard it, it felt like to me like a lifetime gym membership. You sign up once, you use it for about 10 minutes, and then you spend the next 10 years or more just paying on something that you barely use. I'm gonna break it down for you in plain English. A 50-year mortgage does not bring you any closer to owning a damn thing. All it does is stretch out that leash so long that you forget who's holding the other end. You're basically a renter with extra paperwork. The rich are gonna get to sit pretty and take their tax write-off from all your mortgage payments. Then the government's gonna make it even more lucrative for investors to swoop back around and buy more homes in your neighborhood and rinse and repeat it all over again. If you haven't connected the dots yet in this, I'm gonna draw you a map, okay? Rich people want you on the hook forever. You're already working till you die as it is. At least with a 30-year mortgage, if you stayed put and you made your payments the way you supposed to, at the end of it, you don't owe nothing to the mortgage company. All you gotta do is pay property taxes at that point. If rich folks said, hold my beer, not anymore. Now rich folks like, we want that house back in our portfolio one way or another. Your parents do a reverse mortgage? Cool. Them rich people gonna get that house when your parents die. You get a 50-year mortgage? Cool. Rich people still gonna get that house when your parents die. They turn home ownership into a boomerang. No matter how far you throw that thing, it's gonna go right back to the investors. Y'all tired of winning yet? Cause I know damn well when I heard about a 50-year mortgage, that made me tired. These people are monetizing every breath you take, every facet of your life, no matter what. Now, 50-year mortgages and 7-year car loans. What the hell? America? you in trouble, girl.
A 50-year mortgage is a solution that Trump gave in order to fix this housing crisis, in order to impulse people to buy a home. So I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why this is a bad idea. But first, let me show you with numbers how much you will be paying for a $500,000 home with 5% interest rate. All right, let's see the numbers. In this example, we have a 50-year loan, $500,000 home at 5% interest, which I was generous because most are above 6% right now. For 30 years, you're gonna be paying $2,684. Total paid more than $900,000. Your total interest is more than $400,000 paid across that 30-year loan. Now, if we factor in 50 years, your monthly will decrease by about $400 to $2,200, but the total paid for that home is almost triple with $1.3 million, and total interest is over $850,000 that you're going to be paying throughout the life of that 50-year mortgage. So why is this a bad idea? For decades, you're going to be paying only interest, about 20 to 30 years. You're going to pay almost double for that home, and you're going to be in debt for life, because let's face it, 50 years is basically most of your life. So instead, choose a 30-year or a 15-year if you're able to put more into that payment. Focus on total cost, not total monthly payment, and then increase your salary. Find ways to make more money. But 50 years, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Trump just came out and proposed a 50-year mortgage. That means by the time, if you buy a house at 18, which mind you, most people aren't buying homes at 18, okay? You wouldn't be finished paying your home off unless you paid it off early until 68 years of age. Yeah. That means the average American who buys a house right up between the ages of like 25 to 35 years old, they'd be dead before the house is paid off. They'd be dead. That just gives the United States, the federal government, more time to pull shit from up under you. Like, that's almost like a long-term rental at this point, because they can just foreclose on your home. They can wait for you to default on your loan. I mean, anything can happen in 50 years. Anything can happen in 50 years. Now, it may not be the mandatory move, like to go, I'm pretty sure they're going to offer opportunities to do, a fixed rate at like 30 or 20, whatever. But 50 years? That's ridiculous.
I once broke my back when I was skiing. I was 18 years old, and it taught me something that I think applies to this new concept of a 50-year mortgage. Quick fixes sound nice, but real healing takes time. Same is true with debt. Here's my take. A 50-year mortgage is not a new invention. It's actually been around before. We've seen versions of this actually pop up before because affordability has really hit a wall. It is not meant for everybody, in my opinion. It does give you a smaller payment, which is going to be needed because housing prices outpace income. It's going to get you a lower payment, easier qualification, maybe more buying power, but it's going to mean a lot more in interest. You're going to build equity a lot slower. This is not a smart financial strategy, in my opinion. But housing supply and wages have just not kept up to make this work. So if you're a buyer, don't panic, okay? There are creative, better ways to do this affordability. Seller credits, temporary buy downs, using equity from your current home to offset costs, maybe a rental strategy. If you're a realtor, this is your cue to educate, not fearmonger, okay? Headlines love drama, but good agents, good lenders know how to sit down with a buyer and tell the truth. So a philosopher I know, his name's Joey Tribbiani, he once told me it's not that common. It doesn't happen to every guy, okay? Same deal goes for 50 mortgage. It is worth understanding before you judge it. So before you roll your eyes at another repost of some kind of meme out there, mortgaging your life away is not smart. You've got to find a better way to leverage.
This week, 2 things have happened. Thing number 1, Fannie Mae has reduced or eliminated its 620 FICO score requirement in order to get a conventional loan. And thing number 2, we now know that the White House is in talks about trying to figure out how to do a 50-year mortgage loan here in the United States. You may think, why are these things happening? And the short answer is Fannie and Freddie are preparing to go public. What does going public mean? Meaning, right now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are under what's considered a conservatorship, where the profits are mostly going to be controlled by the government. When they go public, it's going to be an opportunity to have shareholders, the same way that a Walmart or a Target or any other store that you may shop in or trade on the stock market might be available to you. Fannie and Freddie is going to be available to you as well. So big changes are definitely going to come as a result of this. This is something that people have been talking about literally as long as I have been in mortgage, and that's been for 11 years. Under the Trump administration, he's like, we're doing it, and we're doing it fast. So you're going to expect to hear a lot more little changes and things that are going to come along the way as it gets in preparation to go public, to make it very appetizing for people to want to buy into. What does that look like? It could look like more product diversity. So right now, there's a very, very square definition of who qualifies and an extremely broad definition of who doesn't. If it goes public, it could bring into the fold an opportunity for a lot of those doesn'ts to become a part of the traditional view of what a qualified loan applicant looks like. Now, those are some positives, but negatives could come along as well if things get too loose too quickly. So, it'll be a gradual change that we'll see, but it is happening, and it seems to be happening sooner rather than later. So as you start to hear little changes here and there, please know that this is not necessarily designed to serve you as a borrower to make things easier or better. It's designed to serve a bigger purpose and a way to make more money.
Donald Trump just hard launched the idea of a 50-year mortgage. Baby, they are selling you the trap as a favor. That is some salesy shit right there. As a 50-year mortgage does not make homes cheaper. It does make your monthly payment cheaper because you are paying over the course of a longer term. But because you are paying over the course of a longer term, you are owing way more in interest. If you don't believe me, you can go to any mortgage calculator online. This is easy to find. So I just inputted all the average costs of home ownership right now, November 10th, 2025, into this calculator. Average cost of a home in America, over $400,000. Interest rate, 6%. Loan term, 50 years. Loan term, 50 years. That is crazy. Your loan payoff date would be October 2075. The total interest you would pay, over $700,000. On a $400,000 house, you would pay $700,000 in interest. Meaning that you would pay overall, over the course of your loan, over buying a $400,000 home with a 50-year mortgage, you would pay $1.2 million. And let's be clear, pitching this idea isn't about helping buyers. It's about protecting home prices. It's about feeding Wall Street. And it is making sure that the housing market never has to lower itself to meet your actual paycheck. Because lowering prices, regulating investors, building affordable housing, those are solutions. But in America, we don't do solutions here. We basically just remarket debt. And yes, you 100% can pay off your mortgage ahead of schedule, ahead of the 50-year term. But in reality, most people will not. So congratulations, you're not a homeowner, you are a long-term customer. And while I don't think Trump is actually gonna go through with this, because what he tends to do is toss out ideas, kind of see what his base thinks about it. And I think he's getting a lot of backlash over it because people can do math, simple math. You never know.
Okay, listen, I'll make another video about this subject in 2027 when a 200 years mortgage is proposed. For now, thanks for watching.